Hey, what's up, Improvement Warrior? Jason Yun back with you again. Welcome to Improvement Warrior Podcast number 55. This podcast is the leptin webinars that I did, parts 1 and 2 combined. I believe it's around 50 minutes total for both of them. And basically introducing you to the world of leptin, which is the master hormone, the controller of all energy and metabolism inside of our body, and it's basically just the master hormone. And it's a lot of people, trainers, nutritionists, and doctors and whatnot, and I was one of them before I started the mitochondriac journey, who just thinks leptin is just related to food, and it works with the ghrelin to tell you if you're full or if you're hungry. And that is completely incorrect. Leptin does a whole host of things in your body. So buckle up for this one. Share this one out to all of your friends and family who are leptin resistant and energy deficient. So you don't have to be overweight to be leptin resistant. So you can be severely, morbidly overweight, or you can be anorexic and you're still leptin resistant. But if you want to do a deeper dive on leptin, you can go to my social media, or you can go to your social media, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, hashtag Leptin with Yun. And I also have the Leptin Transformation. That is improvementwarriorfitness.com/leptin transformation. So you'll get everything will be organized for you. It'll be like basically a course. So you have the 3 leptin webinars. There is a 4th one in planning right now, and then you'll have some other bonus stuff that you can take a look at. But the Leptin Reset and whatnot was what Dr. Cruz became famous for originally on the internet, and so this is going to be a good one. Again, check it out. But yeah, it's been here in Ohio. We've been having I think pretty much everywhere in the U.S. we've been having a heat wave. So we've had 90+ degree weather over the past week or so. So I would have been recording this part outside. I would have recorded this outside, but my computer started to really slow down. Went to a New Kids on the Block concert yesterday and also last Friday, and they're having all their concerts outside, so I am seeing exactly the issues that people have with the sun. So yeah, I love it. So I get to get my sun and then go into the concert. But yeah, so it's a lot better than indoors. But yeah, still been getting out a lot and sweating a lot and drinking a lot. So usually filling up my gallon Arctic jug at least 2 times, sometimes 3 times for the day, and staying hydrated, staying up with magnesium, salt, all that stuff. So super important when you have these days. And I mean, it's basically a free sauna when you go outside. Yeah, but otherwise, share this podcast out to friends and family who you feel need to hear it. And if you do want to support the podcast a little bit more, go to the sponsors on the podcast, and you can also go to Patreon and support me there, becoming a patron, improvementwarriorfitness.com/Patreon. And of course, don't forget to leave a 5-star review on Apple or Spotify, and much appreciated. And don't forget to subscribe. So if you're just listening randomly, please subscribe to Improvement Warrior Podcast. Lots more coming and whatnot. But otherwise, have a good listen. And got something stuck in my throat now. Have a good listen. I will talk to you later. And see you later. Have a good day. Stay strong. Stay positive. Be the Improvement Warrior. Hey, what's up, Improvement Warrior? Jason Yun back with you again. Welcome to the inaugural webinar for Improvement Warrior University. And we're going to get right into these. So this first webinar is all about leptin. And there's going to be multiple parts to this. This is part 1. Let me share my screen, pull it up here. And here we go. All right, so I'm going to shrink my face. So unfortunately, I know a lot of people who are just on here to look at my face, but we're going to close it out so we can go over the information and you cannot be distracted. All right, so I am gone, and this is it. So we're going over this. This is obviously part 1, leptin, the master hormone. Some of you might not even have heard of leptin, and we're going to go over it. This part 1 is basically just introducing you to what it is and everything. Part 2 is what to do, because if this one's going, are you leptin resistant and you don't even know it? Okay, so let's find out if you are leptin resistant or not. Okay, so, all right, so what is leptin? Leptin is a hormone that was discovered in 1994. It is made from fat cells in the body. 1994 that's pretty recent, so 24, 25 years ago. And so that, to me, that means we don't know everything that we should know about the body, and about the brain, and about all the hormones. Because if we just discovered the master one 25 years ago, then that means what else haven't we discovered? But we do know a lot, and this leptin discovery has become part of the key to helping settle obesity, and the key to fixing and reversing obesity and a lot of other diseases, because you'll find leptin is connected with those. All right, so leptin regulates hunger and appetite, and also energy. Energy is key because with no energy, there is no life, really. So energy is all about life. It's about doing or gaining energy from the things that we do, so we can do more of the things we want to do. But if we have no energy, then we don't want to do the things that we need to do to improve our life. Okay? So we want energy, 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 and we want to get away from things that are going to sap our energy. So leptin resistance is going to sap your energy. Okay, it also controls fertility and selects the immature egg cell in the ovary for fertilization every month. So this is basically humans' determinant in our overall plan for expansion and continuing on as a species. If you're leptin resistant, then that's going to be a major problem. Okay, as we'll talk about here pretty soon. It controls the action and release of all other hormones made in the brain, adrenal cortex, the thyroid gland, and the gut. So pretty much every hormone that you have heard of and not heard of, leptin is in control of it. Okay, so also links to your endocrine system. So everything is pretty much in there, or hormones. And again, it's the conductor of your energy metabolism. So if you are leptin resistant, your energy probably sucks. Or it might feel like it's okay, but you just don't know what having ultimate energy is all about. And that's what we're going to help you do, become leptin sensitive. All right, what is leptin part 2? Okay, so leptin is in all fat cells. The fatter someone is, the more leptin you have. Okay, but that's not necessarily a good thing, because if you're leptin resistant, then you need more and more and more to do what normally should be done. So we want to be leptin sensitive. So it's kind of the same thing as insulin resistance. If you're insulin resistant, you need more and more insulin to do the same job that should be done with less insulin. Okay, and it controls satiety in the brain. So it tells you you're full, basically. If you eat too much or the wrong foods, then the brain basically becomes blind to leptin signals, and that's when you become leptin resistant. Okay, it can happen for some people very quickly, and some people it happens over time, over a period of years, a period of decades. Okay, and the worst foods that you can eat is basically the standard American diet, so high carbohydrate, low fat, low cholesterol, and PUFAs, so polyunsaturated fatty acids, or sorry, polyunsaturated fatty acids. So those are going to be, the worst are going to be vegetable oils, canola oil, soybean oil, corn oil, okay, all the bad stuff. Stay away. That's the worst food you can actually put in your body, is the PUFAs. All right, so normal levels of leptin are 4 to 9 nanograms per milliliter. Obese people are usually over 10, and if you have fertility issues or anorexic, you're usually less than 4. Okay. All right, and you first get the leptin from the colostrum from your mom when you were first born and you're breastfeeding. So if you did not breastfeed immediately when you were born, that is a issue, okay? Because research shows that DNA as well is affected, as well as your leptin levels, because there's a chemical process that alters DNA called methylation, and that's one way obesity can be sent across generations of your family. So yeah, definitely want to, well, you can't go back and change that. So just ask your mom and make sure, because otherwise you might have some other issues that might pop up. Okay, what else does leptin control and modulate? Leptin is basically, it controls and modulates your immune system in the brain, modulates all inflammatory cytokines associated with visceral fat. Visceral fat is the worst fat that you can have. It's the fat in your, basically in your belly, stuck around all the organs inside you. So the organs inside there can't do their job as well. So it's the most inflammatory fat that you can have. And all disease processes start through inflammation. Okay. It's also it precludes high blood pressure because it destroys a protein called amylin in your pancreas, and beta cells in your pancreas make insulin. Okay, and so high levels of leptin also can lead to type 2 diabetes because leptin destroys amylin, which causes beta cells to eventually stop making insulin, and the longer you wait, the greater the chances of type 2 diabetes increase from there. Okay. All right, so leptin resistance. Leptin resistance alters brain signaling. Brain is the master controller of you, so if your brain isn't working properly, something in your body isn't working properly, and henceforth you are not working correctly. All right. Inflammation, where leptin enters the brain, that's the circumventricular organs. And the number 1 CV is at the median eminence of the pituitary gland. So connection between the pituitary and the hypothalamus are huge in terms of leptin resistance. Okay? So leptin enters your brain and sets off a group of neurons that will basically modulate your energy status for the rest of your life. So that's the importance of the breastfeeding and getting the leptin first thing through the colostrum. It sits right over in a set of nerves that goes straight to your eye. It's about 5 inches back, and it's about the size of a pea. All right? Your eye is the most important area in your body for your health. Okay? And we'll discuss a lot more about that here soon. Not in this series, but in other series. I talk more about that in the 10 Pillars of Health webinar, which actually just became 13 Pillars of Health. So be sure to watch that. Do not skip that webinar if you care about your health. All right. If leptin cannot enter the brain, it can't tell the energy status of the rest of the body. So it's basically like driving to LA with a broken fuel gauge. You don't know how much gas you have left. So you constantly have to be refueling. Okay? And if you wait too long, you run out of gas. And usually when you are leptin resistant and you're refueling all the time, you're refueling with the wrong fuel. All right, so what do we call a human body that is incapable of producing energy? Anyone, we call it a cadaver. Okay, so a dead body. Remember, life is all about energy. All right, leptin, again, controls all energy production in the body. It controls your hormonal response of the brain and all signaling energy generation pathway in the body. It is the master hormone. Okay, and again, massive leptin resistance. You cannot have children. 1 in 8 couples are infertile. So that was back in 2006, 2010. So I'm sure that number has increased as well. Okay, so again, it is the primary controller of our species continuing on, basically. And some people would say, and I would say, we are in an extinction event. And so things need to change rather quickly. Okay, so leptin resistance 2. So there's 2 ends of the worst form of leptin resistance, so that's morbid obesity and anorexia. Okay, so if you're morbidly obese, you have very high levels of leptin. If you're anorexic, you have very low leptins. So you have huge energy stores for the obese and virtually none for the anorexic. Okay, so you could be way too fat or way too thin and be leptin resistant. You can also be fit and healthy and still be leptin resistant. Okay, if that is the case and you just don't know, but you want to know, but we'll go over leptin sensitivity and whether that, not in this part, but in a future part. The best thing to do there is check your blood work. So the best test to see if you're leptin resistant is your reverse T3. That's a competitive. Reverse T3 is a competitive inhibitor of T3 and T4. So those are your thyroid hormones. Those are actually made in the liver. Most people don't know that. But leptin resistance completely turns off the thyroid gland, which doesn't allow you to burn fat in your muscles because your metabolism has been lowered. So we call that peripheral muscle leptin resistance. And because of that, some obese people cannot burn fat during exercise. And that's also why the thyroid test is not very valid when you're leptin resistant. So a lot of people have been misdiagnosed with a thyroid condition when it's actually leptin resistance. Okay, and then the other test is ultrasensitive or cardiac CRP levels. Okay, and then organs that rely on energy are also going to be tied to leptin. So your top metabolism organs are your heart, your brain, and bone. So leptin resistance, always osteoporosis is going to follow, and it should be and or degenerative disc disease. Okay, so if you are leptin resistant and you are, it could be as early as your 20s, but definitely in your 30s and 40s, okay, you do have some form of osteoporosis going on. So you need to do something rather quickly before that starts to degrade anymore. Because the #1 cause of death after the age of 65 is falls. Okay, and what happens as we age? Bones start to degenerate, osteoporosis, osteopenia. Okay,
let's do something about it. Okay. All right. So if you are leptin resistant and insulin resistant, and you go for a long enough time, then AR, which is adrenal resistance, will develop. And that means your cortisol level is going to be jacked up. Okay, if you keep your cortisol and your insulin levels jacked up for too long, that means something big is coming, one of the big diseases. So diabetes, heart disease, cancer, stroke, Alzheimer's, arthritis, any autoimmune disease, okay, gut issues. All right, so either get ready or do something about it. Okay, and share this webinar out with people that you think need to watch this. Okay, leptin resistance also indicates that you have low vitamin D levels. You should know your vitamin D level because it is one of the key indicators for health. Okay, if it's low, it's telling us you're leptin resistance and you have a bunch of bad things that are going to occur if they haven't already occurred. There's an app. Well, in Ohio, there is no vitamin D from the sun. Most people know vitamin D as the sunshine vitamin. Vitamin D is actually a hormone, though, so it's not actually a vitamin, but we get it from the sun. Okay, where I live in Ohio, we don't get any vitamin D from the sun from November 20th to January 20th. So you have to supplement with it. And you have to have a supplement that is supplementing with D and K and vitamin K. Okay? If you just do vitamin D, you run the risk of calcifying your arteries instead of your bone. Okay, so that's very bad. We don't want that. So I have a blog post going over why D and K need to be together. I'll link that up. There's a supplement I use that has D and K together. I'll link that up somewhere on this page. And the D-Minder app, download it. So it's pretty awesome. You can enter how much vitamin D you supplemented with that day. It'll tell you over the last 30 days how much vitamin D you've gotten. So if you've gotten 100% over the last 30 days, it'll tell you that. If you've gotten 130%, it'll tell you that. And when you can make vitamin D from the sun, it will tell you per minute how much IUs of vitamin D you are making based on how much clothes you have on. Okay, so if your doctor tells you it's 2,000 or 10,000 IUs is the absolute limit, you can tell your doctor he's an idiot or she's an idiot because you can stand in the sun for 10 minutes and make 15,000 IU. Okay, and so it all depends. It depends on where you are. It'll tell you where you're based on your latitude, how much you can make, all that stuff. So it's cool. It will tell you actually when the vitamin D window is open. So get out there, take your clothes off, get that vitamin D. All right, so leptin resistance number 3. All right, leptin resistance, again, causes diabetes. So type 2 diabetes is usually caused by high morning blood sugar and overall high blood sugar. There's an enzyme called PepCK. You can have fun pronouncing that, but it controls gluconeogenesis in the body. And what controls that enzyme? Leptin. Okay, leptin resistance also causes heart disease. Every hormonal disruption seen in leptin resistance is also mirrored in coronary heart disease. So doctors should be looking at your hormone panel in addition to your lipid panel, because leptin resistance is going to show up a lot earlier than the heart disease or signs of heart disease showing up. Okay, and so obesity is an inflammatory brain disease, and all diseases are caused by inflammation again. Okay, All right, so conventional wisdom to treat obesity, you've got to eat less, move more, do lots of cardio, follow the standard American diet, high carb, low fat, low cholesterol, as prescribed by the alphabet soup agencies, government agencies, FDA, USDA, AHA, ADA, etc., and also avoid the sun. Okay, we'll be talking a lot more about the sun as well, and especially in the 13 pillars of health. Okay. More conventional wisdom to treat obesity is more than likely your doctor will prescribe one of these drugs, and more than likely you'll be on more than one of them, because just taking one of them will cause side effects that will cause you to get on something else or something not on this list. But these are pretty much the top 10 most prescribed stuff. So you got the cholesterol, you've got the thyroid, you've got the anxiety, sleep, metformin, high blood sugar, all that stuff is in there. Okay? And you should never be on a drug for the rest of your life, although your physician would like that, because that basically makes you a customer for life. Okay? My goal is to get people off of the drugs as soon as possible, because it is messing up the gut. It's also messing up the brain. It's messing up the natural hormonal response that we are perfectly capable of. Okay, so we don't see hippos and tigers coming into doctors getting a prescription for a statin drug because they have high cholesterol. All right, so yeah, that's one of my big pet peeves is. So let's get off that stuff and get yourself better, because if you are on one of these or on multiple of these, fixing your leptin resistance is going to be virtually impossible. Okay, so basically all the above equals slim chance to get healthy and lose weight. Okay, and most of the drugs, they're given to treat symptoms. They're not given to treat the cause. Okay, so we need to treat the cause and make you healthy again, because a healthy person will not be on any drugs. Okay, and increased cortisol levels is the reason that people get on drugs, because remember, all diseases stem from inflammation, and if your cortisol levels are increased, that means your stress levels are up. That means your inflammation levels are up. So if leptin resistance and insulin resistance go on long enough, and that leads to the adrenal resistance, that leads to the cortisol issues. Okay, so when insulin, cortisol chronically up in the air or chronically elevated, then your chances for those big diseases are going to come in. Okay, and obesity is chronic high cortisol, high insulin resistance, and high leptin resistance. Okay. All right, so that is the end of part 1. And then part 2, we're going to get into the leptin reset. So what to actually do to fix your leptin and make you leptin sensitive. Okay. And then part 3, I've already planned it out, is going to be the hormone cascade. So what happens when leptin goes haywire, and what happens to all the other ones, and how it affects everything. And you'll see how everything is connected. Thank you very much for watching. Again, share this out with anybody that you think needs to watch it. Watch it again. There will be an audio down below, so you can download it, listen to it as you're driving. Make your automobile a automobile university. Okay? But this one is for your health. Improvement Warrior University, for your health, and for the health of your family, and for the health of everyone that you care about. Okay?
There is no tomorrow. There is no tomorrow. There is no tomorrow.
I will say it again and again. Your phone is one of the biggest detriments to your health due to the non-native EMF and blue light coming from it. However, with
One Tap Zap app from solar-powered Rusty. You can take care of blue light, Wi-Fi, flickering effect, all in one simple press of a button. One Tap Zap, you can disable Wi-Fi and Bluetooth completely. Get rid of your connection with the cellular tower, apply a blue light filter, reduce screen flickering, especially over low brightness, achieve sound sleep almost immediately, improve your mitochondrial health significantly, and maintain eye health with no more dry eyes, and numerous health benefits as well. One Tap Zap, you can check it out at improvementwarriorfitness.com/solar powered. Unfortunately, it does not work for Android, just iPad, iPhone, and Macs at this time. But check it out, improvementwarriorfitness.com/solar powered.
There is no tomorrow.
This is Leptin Part 2, the Leptin Prescription Reset. Okay, so we're going to get right into this. All right, and whoop. Okay, so all right, so Leptin Reset Prescription, Leptin Part 2, what to do to get back to being leptin sensitive. And this stuff that I'm going over is coming directly from Dr. Jack Kruse. So you're welcome to follow him as well, but he will quite simply in one word or in one phrase blow your mind. He has me, and I've basically been doing a 4-month biohack that has completely changed my life and what I think about health and how I think about food and light and all the stuff that we do in relation to health. Okay, but again, you got to be ready for it, and you got to be open-minded, very, very open-minded. But so let's get into this, and let's talk about how we can get you back to leptin sensitive. If you are leptin resistant, again, don't skip part 1. Don't skip any parts of this because certain things tie together. And if you jump in part 4, you haven't watched the other parts, you're going to have no idea what's going on. So don't skip. This is not college or high school where you can just catch back up in a day or two. You have to know what's going on. This is your body, and if you don't know the reason you're doing it, then you're not going to continue doing it. So it's going to be that much easier to get in and say, oh, I'll just have this cookie this one time. When you know why you shouldn't have that cookie that time, then it's a lot easier to say no. So don't skip parts. All right, let's get into this. So the leptin prescription reset. Your hypothalamus is going to respond to food in a new way once you do this. It's going to sensitize your leptin receptors to electrons. So that's one of the things that I learned is all energy is related to the amount of electrons that we can get into our mitochondria. So our mitochondria, some of you may or may not have heard of it, it is our powerhouse of our cell. It's basically what gives us that energy. So again, no energy, no life. Okay? All food gets turned into electrons. And some foods have more, so fat, protein, and some foods have less, carbohydrates. And sometimes carbohydrates will actually take electrons from you. Okay? So it just depends on things. Make sure you watch the other webinar, the 13 Pillars of Health. All right, so this is going to force your hypothalamus to rely on circadian and ultradian rhythms. Okay, obesity is not laziness or gluttony. It's an inflammatory brain disease. When you do this, your organs are going to respond radically different. They're going to work and they're going to be healthy. I mentioned in the last webinar, part 1, that we never see hippos or lions and tigers in for statin drugs or metformin, or we never go out into the wild and put them on there. Okay, they don't have books on how to eat. Okay, but us humans, we have outsmarted our environment because we have this thing on top of our head called a brain that allows us to do that. But we never should have done that, and that's why most of the population is sick and obese and overweight and has some disease. All right, your mood, your thoughts, and your personality are going to change as well. You're going to be more tranquil, and you're going to have more ability to actually think for yourself and be open-minded and all that stuff. Taste and smell will definitely change. Okay, so good foods, healthy foods, are going to taste good to you again, and some treat foods and carbohydrate cravings, they'll be gone. Some treat foods, when you go back to tasting them, they won't taste as good, and that's because we have reset your taste buds back to normal. Okay, eat too much sugar, eat too much artificial sweeteners, high fructose corn syrup, it destroys the original taste buds, but we can bring those back. Okay, all right, whoops, where are we? Okay, all right, so are you leptin resistant? So this is part one of the reset. Or if you're 25 pounds or more overweight, then pretty much you're leptin resistant. Okay? If you have a large appetite, okay, you are pretty much leptin resistant. Do you crave certain foods, especially carbohydrates, especially at night? You are leptin resistant. Okay. If you're fit and healthy, or supposedly fit and healthy, because you could be fit and healthy and look like the cover of a magazine, and you can look like Swiss cheese on the inside. So if you're unsure and you want to know, I mentioned this in part one, but the blood tests to do that would be reverse T3, also testing your leptin levels and salivary cortisol levels, also ferritin levels and C-reactive protein. All of these will be elevated if you are leptin resistant. Okay, and another good test is the HSC reactive protein. That's for general inflammation. The higher the number is, the longer this reset is going to take you. So typically it's recommended 4 to 6 weeks for the average person. However, it could take even longer than that. So don't put everything into believing it's going to take just 4 to 6 weeks, when it could take 2 months, 3 months, 6 months, a year. Okay? So you're in this for the long haul to fix yourself. Okay. Also, salivary cortisol levels, it's a key test to knowing where you are. Should be highest in the morning and lowest at night. I mentioned in part one leptin webinar that if you have chronic cortisol elevation and chronic insulin elevation, then that just means some big disease is coming for you very soon if you don't do something about it. Okay. All right, this is part two. Follow a strict paleo ketogenic nutrition plan. So as you know, I am big into the ketogenic, low carb, high fat type of nutrition plan. Notice it doesn't say diet anywhere. So usually with paleo, it's paleo diet. Usually with keto, it's keto diet. Throw the diet word away for the rest of your life. You are finding a nutrition plan, a nutrition lifestyle. Okay? Paleo ketogenic is whole foods, pretty much. Some supplements are allowed. You just got to watch the ingredients. With any food that you put in your mouth, you have to watch the ingredients, because a lot of companies, they will put stuff that just doesn't belong. So I was looking at tuna at Aldi's today, and pretty much all of them had soybean oil, and there was one other ingredient that is not good. So it's like, why? It's like you put tuna in water and seal it, and it's good for 2 or 3 years. But yeah, that's why always check the ingredients. So it's going to be a high fat, low carb, and the protein will typically, for the leptin reset, the protein is going to be a little higher than a typical ketogenic approach. So it's going to be more paleo in that regard for the protein. The protein is going to be, you're going to have a lot more seafood as well, and I'll talk about it in future webinars, but the most important supplement, the most important nutrient to consume is DHA. Okay, DHA. So that's an omega-3 fatty acid. So in omega-3 fatty acids, there's DHA, EPA, ALA. Okay, I think there's one more, but that's not important. So what is important is just making sure that you're eating that and following that plan. Okay, I do have the 47-day keto challenge, so that can help set you on the right path as well. There's a 90+ page ebook in there, and recipe book, and all that stuff. And then we got a Facebook group for more support as well. And if you aren't following me on social media, please do so. I post a lot of information on there. So YunTraining, YUN-training, is my call sign, or whatever you call it. So, all right. Let's see, part 2. So what you eat is just as important as eliminating foods causing the leptin receptors to stop functioning. So the leptin receptors that are going to, or the food that's going to stop it from functioning, are going to be your standard American diet foods. So very high carbohydrates, the sugar, the wheat, the soy, all that needs to go. The PUFAs, polyunsaturated fatty acids, canola oil, soybean oil, corn oil, right? There's some other ones that are escaping me right now, but those are the ones that are going to cause the leptin receptors to malfunction. Okay, you want to eat within 30 minutes of waking. Okay, very important. We're resetting the circadian biology, resetting the circadian rhythm. Okay, and this meal needs to have as little carbs as possible. So preferably less than 25 grams. The more obese you are, or the less, or the more lacking of energy you are, the less carbs you eat. Okay, so it can be less than 5 or less than 10. Doesn't really matter. Okay, and your average protein should be between 50 to 75 grams of protein. Okay, so for some of you, this is going to be a major change, especially if you're just eating an egg or 2, or an egg white, which you should not be eating just egg whites ever. Yolk is where everything is, vitamins, nutrients, all that stuff. Some will have more protein, some will have less. You're going to base this on the hunger for the rest of your day. Okay, so you should be able to go to dinner without being hungry. However, when you are starting this, you do want to eat 3 square meals a day. So breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So lunch might be your smallest meal if you are not that hungry, but we do want to have the lunch. Okay? And it should be following the paleo ketogenic approach. Okay, your best sources of protein in order are going to be wild seafood, pastured eggs, grass-fed meats, poultry, whey protein. Okay, and then the same for fat. Okay, 50 to 75 grams or 10 to 25% above that. Okay, so it all depends. And so I could tell you, I could pull up what I had this morning. Hopefully. Not really though. Okay. And let's see. And then you want to eat your last meal at least 4 hours before bed. Okay, so that's going to also help the circadian rhythm and get that back. Okay, so when you watch the 13 Pillars webinar, you're going to find out just how important your circadian rhythm is to everything. Okay, all right. Okay, so yeah, I'm not following the leptin reset because I'm pretty leptin sensitive, but pretty much my, okay, yeah, that's not a good example. Okay, so yesterday I had 23 carbs, 90 grams of fat, 76 grams of protein. Okay, but it's going to be different for everybody, so I don't want to give out certain numbers. You're going to have to play around with the numbers. If you're getting hungry by lunchtime and you're eating 50 grams of protein, then bump it up to 60 grams and then go from there. And just keep bumping it up until you can get to lunch without being hungry. Eventually, you want to drop the 3 meals down to just 2. Okay. All right, and absolutely 100% no snacking. Okay, no snacking, and that should be a general rule for basically the rest of your life. Okay, so that messes with the digestion. So we need to bring the digestion back so the body knows what to do. And it's not digesting food every 2 to 3 to 4 hours. Right, so number 3, how is more important than what you eat? Okay, so be sure to watch the 11 Pillars of Health webinar. Again, it's now 13, and it most likely will stop at 13, but you never know. Always adding something, finding something. Circadian biology is the #1 factor for your health. Okay, so again, watch that webinar. I'll go over what circadian biology is and all that. Again, never snack. Remaking this point, never snack. All right. Snacking destroys the timing and the circadian clocks that work in unison with the leptin receptors. Okay, again, start with 3 meals a day, and as the hunger dissipates, drop down to 2. You can't drop to 2, or you can stay at 3. And you can also move into intermittent fasting or fasting protocols as your leptin resets. I do have a intermittent fasting and fasting webinar that you can watch as well once you're at that stage. Okay, and then you also want to watch the sunrise every morning, even if it's cloudy. If you miss it, you fail. Okay, that is the #1 factor for circadian biology. It basically tells your pituitary gland to turn on the hormone cascade, hormone factory in your body. And if you miss it, you fail. So reset your morning. If you're at work, I'm sure there's people that go out for cigarette breaks. Just take a sun break. Okay, and at least 4 to 5 hours after your last meal before sleep. So for at least 4 hours before bedtime, you want to get that last meal in. Okay, and if possible, try to work out after 5 p.m. Okay, so again, this is the leptin reset. You're not going to do this forever. We're just going to do this until we reset the leptin receptors. So some people, I know this is impossible to do because of certain situations. Sometimes people work at night and kids, family time, all that stuff, but just try and do your best. Otherwise, we can try and work on some alternates for you based on your situation. And I'm not going to get into alternates here because everybody's different. Everybody has different lives and all that stuff. Okay, and then within 1 hour of sunset, make your surroundings as dark as possible and wear blue blocking glasses. So I've got them on. You'll see, I don't know if you can see me right now, but I've got them on and I pretty much wear them all day now. I'll get into that when I get into the blue blocking or the blue light webinar, which is coming very soon in Improvement Warrior University. I just use, what is it? They're just orange construction glasses. I forget the brand, but because I'm not going to take them off. But I forget the brand. I will post it below. I just get them on Amazon. They're like $8 or $9 or $10. There are more expensive ones, more elaborate ones. There's ones you can wear out at night, and I'll post links to all of those. But you got to block that blue light because that's going to affect your circadian biology as well. Okay. 6 to 8 weeks typically is the time frame. You're going to notice cravings and hunger will start to dissipate. Okay. The higher your homocysteine and C-reactive protein and hormonal variability is, then the longer this reset is going to take for you. So stay persistent and stay consistent. Okay. So just expect no specific time. Expect longer than 6 to 8 weeks. If it happens sooner, hey, good. All right. But if you don't fix your leptin, then good luck with your weight loss. Good luck with your disease reversal. Good luck with getting off the prescription drugs. Good luck with pretty much everything. Okay. All right. So men, if you are in andropause, women, if you are in menopause, it is going to take longer. So just expect that. Okay, and if that is the case, andropause for men, menopause for women, a lot of people in this situation will be better off using bioidentical hormone therapy in addition to the leptin reset. But it is not absolutely necessary. That it would just help speed up the process. Okay, and if you, well, hold on. Okay. So signs you are now leptin sensitive and need to move on to the leptin post prescription, okay, which will be a future webinar. Okay. Okay. So men, you're going to notice quick weight loss. Women, your mood is going to change. You're going to get calmer and more sleepy. Your sleep is going to improve. Clothes will fit differently, but your weight may or may not be moving anywhere. Okay, both sexes will, in sweating, you'll notice a difference in your sweating patterns. So you'll be sweating more, which is a good thing because sweating is one of the ways we remove toxins. Right, you'll have better recovery from exercise, and your energy will go up. Okay? And then the hunger and cravings will typically start to dissipate. Okay. And so that's typically the end of that one. And the next one is part 3 is the hormone cascade. And if you do, no, never mind. That's for another webinar. So my bad. So that is it. That is the leptin prescription. I will post some information down below. I will have a handout of the instructions and try and put as much detailed information that I can put into that. It'll probably be a 1-page document. So hopefully that will help you as well. And hold on one second. Okay. All right, so that's it. Thank you very much for watching. Again, share this out with anybody that you think should be watching it. And yeah, we'll go from there. If you're not part of the Improvement Warrior University, check it out. And don't forget to follow me on social media, YunTraining. And if you have questions about this, post it below. Text, call, email, ask me in class, however you want to get the information. But that's it. Thank you for watching. Have a great day. Stay strong, stay positive, be the improvement warrior.
There is no tomorrow. There is no tomorrow. There is no tomorrow.
The ultimate program design shortcut. This is your chance to finally get your training, exercises, and workouts right. Literally everything that I have used in my personal and client workouts since 1990 to improve, grow, and become the best and strongest version of myself. Now it can be in the palm of your hand with the EverFit coaching app. With this app, I can program workouts and habits. Habits, aka behaviors, they basically form us and make us and create our days for better or for worse. There are two programs, EverFit Gold and EverFit Platinum. You will get custom habit design. You will have access to all workouts on LVN, online strength and fitness workouts, on the private Facebook group. You can chat, ask questions with me anytime, upload, see your progress, body metric tracking, sleep tracking, track your macros, reminders sent to your phone for workouts or habit times. Some of the habits that can be programmed for you, just for you. Breath holds, take your magnesium, eat your salt, eat your DHA, mouth tape, enter your macros, UVA reminder, UVB, vitamin D reminder, drink cold water, get outside reminders, put your blue blockers on, turn your phone red, and more and more. So changing your habits once and for all. This is the ultimate coaching app, and this is the ultimate coaching platform. Habit and task accountability is what you need. So never worry about what to do for your workout. Never worry about your habits. You will see it on your phone when you need to do it, and you will do it. Accountability through trackability. You can check everything out at improvementwarriorfitness.com/everfit. Here is the stronger you.